Welcome to the Rangers Today Baseball Podcast. From the bus leagues to the big leagues, the Rangers Today Baseball Podcast has got you covered. Here's Jeff and John. Hey everybody, welcome to the Rangers Today Baseball Podcast. This is episode number 132. And today, Walt Pennington. He is the newest Texas Ranger that came over in the Michael Lorenzen trade. He's going to be joining us shortly, but first we got to get into a whole lot of other stuff, especially with all the travel we've done, getting this one in. And by the way, Walt was supposed to be on last week. Was going to join us. Just some things got in the way, and obviously there was some conflict.
And then they called him up.
And then they called him up to the big leagues because at the time he was not in the big leagues. But a lot of things at work. I've been in New York for the week. So the Rangers flew in as I was flying out. So I spent the whole week there and got to – if you've never been to New York, I would suggest it's something you ought to see at least once. It lets me know that I don't want to live there. But I mean, it's a lot of – my son is going to be a senior in high school. He starts his last year of high school Tuesday. This was his senior trip. We went and did some shows. We thought about going to a Yankee game. We did a lot of stuff and a lot of walking. One day we kept steps and we walked 11 miles.
Oh my!
In one day.
That's pretty good.
So we've done a lot of walking. You, on the other hand, you went to the White House to handle some CIA business or something like that.
Yeah. It's covert. I can't really talk about it, but the Rangers just happened to be there, so that was really fun. I've been to all the ballparks, all the cities. I don't need to go to. I'll have to go to Las Vegas, I guess, when that ballpark opens. But I don't have a yearning desire to go anywhere anymore. And with the kids a little bit older, it can be, travel can be tough. But we made a one-day exception yesterday. I flew up in the morning, flew home last night because I wanted to do this. This was a pretty cool experience. It's a little bit different than being a baseball beat writer. You can't just kind of go when you want to go and talk to who you want to talk. You are pretty much cordoned off at the back of the room, and no opportunity to speak with the president, or really any of the players. They did bring out Marcus Semien and Nathan Eovaldi, and they spoke at the Sticks, is what it's called. It's right outside the White House, kind of on the driveway there, and you see a lot of interviews there, it turns out. But anyway, it was a cool deal to see how the White House press corps works, and then to see.
So were you in the room where the president was?
Yeah, well, we were in the East Room. Yeah, that's where the ceremony was, and
but y'all were at the back of the room.
We're at the back. The East Room is on the, if you take a tour of the White House, you have to go through one of your senators or whatever, and fill out some forms. But they pretty much green light you, and it's not a full blown tour of the White House. Obviously, there are a lot of things that are not for public consumption, but the East Room is one of them. So it's a pretty spacious room. They had a couple hundred people in there, plus the team on the rafter, and the president came in. And it was a fun deal, and I think that, and you tweeted this, no matter what side of the aisle you fall on,
you don't turn that down.
If you get invited to the White House, you go. It was interesting though that Ray Davis was not there. I don't know if he had a prior conflict, which is entirely possible, or if he doesn't like President Biden. Half the country doesn't, and so I understand. But
I know players on that team that aren't big Biden fans that were there and happily, and I would be if President Biden or if President Trump, who I'm not a big fan of either, if they invite me to the White House, I want to go see it.
Yeah,
that's the White House, man. That is like that is the room.
Yeah, Marcus Semien said that his dad reminded him that he's the first Semien to ever meet a president and to go to the White House. So It's a big deal for just more than the players, but it's a
you only get to go though when you're the world champion.
It's a long baseball tradition, and that's just it. The world champs go, and
that's right. That was freaking awesome.
The Rangers are still the world champs,
and
despite what they're doing on the field.
I saw some of Biden's remarks. I mean, obviously he's on teleprompter, but they were funny. He made quips about what Seager said.
He mumbled a couple times, and I thought it was interesting. He didn't attempt to pronounce anybody's last names. Now, obviously, he, I doubt, knows who Nathan Eovaldi is. So he just called him Nathan. So I would imagine, and he didn't, and he did not I take that back. He did say one last name. He said Garcia.
Yeah.
He did not say Adolis. So maybe if the speechwriter knew that certain names are going to trip this guy up, like Bochy. He didn't, but I think he could have said Young, but anyway, and
he probably would have said Jung, like a lot of people.
Chris Young.
Chris Young. Okay, all right. That's
but he probably, he had a couple little slips that, I guess that somebody pointed out that he said Adolis Garcia set a season record, not a postseason record for RBIs, and whatever.
He doesn't know all those stats. Put together.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know a lot of things right now at his age and the faculty that he appears to be at. But he's still the president. And still the leader of the free world, and the most powerful man in the world. And
he made the Seager comment I thought was pretty cute. I guess we won't need to find out.
He said you guys got the last word in when he was talking about how they lost the division to the Astros.
Right.
And I don't know, that one felt kind of unscripted. And he made a couple unscripted remarks, like anyway. But then like it was pretty weird. Bruce Bochy presented with a jersey and presented with a pair of boots, and Bochy made a joke like, this is for you to start two-stepping, and Biden said, give me a couple weeks on that. And so that was funny. And then somebody from the White House military officers corps came to take the goodies from the president, and he seemed kind of confused by that. And then the guy took him, and it was like, and then he said, what do I do next? Like they hadn't told him.
Yeah.
And so anyway, but that's I made a joke about Biden in the newsletter last week or a couple days ago, and how 4 p.m. is after when he shuts things down for the day. Which if you follow politics, that's pretty much how it works. For him here in the last few months, and I think I said if he even if his handlers are letting him know what's going on, and it pissed off some guy, but another guy loved it. And, I try not to get political, and those were, as I told the guy who got mad, those were like Johnny Carson and Jay Leno jokes.
Absolutely.
And in no way did I reveal my political affiliation or anything like that. No. And, that's what I tried to tell the guy. It's just people are so sensitive.
When you talk about Trump, you talk about Orange Man and Orange Boy and all that bad. All the stuff they do on that. So that's not a big deal.
I could have said, hey, President Trump brought the the Clemson football team and LSU football teams McDonald's. What did Biden serve you guys? Or it could have made a joke about McDonald's. But anyway, the point is,
they got to go,
and they went to the White House. A reporter asked Simeon and Evaldi if they had anything they wanted to say to the president, like, do you want to tell him, trying to elicit like fix the border, or why is
they wanted him to get political.
Why do groceries cost so much? But they obviously sidestepped it and said, I just want to tell them thanks for having us, and
which is what they should have done, and what everybody should do. And
they were very good representatives of the Rangers and of Major League Baseball, and that's what you want. That's what you want to see, And
absolutely,
they do have their political opinions. We know that, and they just, wisely chose not to share them. And I know that people have been for the last 8 years very very divided about President Trump and
President Biden too.
President Biden, and don't let it ruin your day.
Never.
I mean,
if you're losing friends over politics, it's
I mean, I lost Rangers Day lost a subscriber over something, and the guy who was upset responded, "It's not like President Trump was had great mental faculty." And I was like, "Look, man, I didn't mention President Trump at all."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Did you mention that when other teams visited Trump?" And I didn't say no, because this website didn't exist.
Yeah.
I was like, I told him, I don't cover those other teams. I cover the Rangers.
You cover the
They're
Texas
going to see
Rangers.
President Biden. And I made some Johnny Carson like jokes.
Well, I know for a fact.
Get over it. Don't let it ruin your day.
If you have followed our followers, I know for a fact we have hardcore liberals that love this site and love our podcast. and right wing nut jobs that love our site. We've got both. And I'll tell you guys right now that don't let this ruin your day. I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't care who you vote for. Do your homework, vote for who you want to vote for. That's it. But if we can't have a lot, let's argue sports. Let's get into sports arguments. That's what
if you can't take a joke,
absolutely,
it's gonna be
a long year.
It's gonna be a bad Thanksgiving.
Somebody's world is going to be destroyed come November,
right?
And you shouldn't let it destroy your world.
Yeah, the way I look at it, we are going to talk a little bit of politics. Like, there were concerns that Donald Trump was going to, eradicate gay marriage and all of it and stuff, and not treat blacks well, and all of these things. And in his very first interview, he was asked, Leslie Stahl did it for CBS, point blank asked, "Are you going to get rid of gay marriage?" He said no, and it's just take him at his face, and he didn't. Right? He didn't. Now, he appointed conservative Supreme Court justices who've ruled,
in the abortion thing,
the Roe versus Wade. They sent it back to the states. Neil Gorsuch was on 60 Minutes last week, and it was pretty interesting to hear what they ruled on, and like expanding the Supreme Court. There's no need to do that.
That's called losing.
This is what happens when you lose elections.
Yep.
And you're gonna have to wear it for a little while. I mean, in the 60s and the 70s, conservatives, there were two conservatives on the Supreme Court at one point. So it's not. It's just the way our country works, and these things, they really do balance each other out.
They really do.
I mean, and Donald Trump wasn't able to repeal Obamacare because John McCain, a Republican, and one of his last things that he did as a senator before he passed away was he voted against the bill that would have overturned it. He was the deciding vote. Our system works. It's worked for a long time, and it's going to work after Joe Biden and Donald Trump are long gone. And so if you look at, so now it should come down to policy. It should come down to, do you like the policy of what some of the left leaning social movements? Do you like the fiscal side of the Republican Party, which no taxes, a smaller government, strong defense?
Yep.
These are the things. Do you like right now high interest rates? Can you afford a house right now because interest rates are so high? Does it burn your ass when you go to the grocery store and you spend $300 goddamn for 1 week?
Yeah.
Those are issues that are going to decide things. Ultimately, the pocketbook always decides the election.
Yeah,
it really does.
Everybody votes their pocketbook, and that's the way.
The things at the end of the first Trump administration, because of COVID, weren't going great.
Nope.
People were hurting, but interest rates or inflation was like 1.9%. It skyrocketed under the President Biden. So they're just things. I mean, these are all facts. This isn't right versus left. These are just things that you can find and make up your own mind. So Jesus, we got way far away from baseball. But
hey, look, you know what? And look, if this makes you mad, let us know. Who cares? Listen, guys, we love you no matter what. I'm telling you, no matter what. What we don't love right now is 3-7 in your last 10. You lose 2 in a row. I mean, the Rangers have all. I can't believe they're still only 5.5 games out.
Well, that just tells you that the rest of the teams are flawed. The Astros are not good.
They're not.
The Astros are not a good team. They have a lot of holes. They're dealing with injuries. The Mariners,
Seattle's are the ones that
they're Seattle. I'm not. They made some acquisitions. Randy Arozarena and Justin Turner at the trade deadline, but they're still dealing with injuries. They still don't score a ton of runs. So that's the amazing thing is that the Rangers are here. The Rangers, I mean, Bruce Bochy won a division with the Padres with 82 wins, I think it was. That could happen.
Well, they lost the Silver Boot.
That's a big deal.
And that's huge because last year that's what cost them.
That's what cost them the division.
And they and you know, I got more crap for this. You know, talk about we said something political a while ago, and but everyone lost their mind on me when I put out there that I say that this team is a World Series team, that is a team that is good enough to win the World Series. They are vastly underperforming, and that's what's kept them out of it. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do this offseason to address it. And I had more people tell me it was an aberration. They weren't a World Series team, blah, blah, blah. And I just wanted to go, bullshit. You don't go into the playoffs and rattle off what they did if you're not good enough. Period.
Yeah.
You've got, I mean, yes, you can get hot. That's part of it, but you still got to be damn good.
Yeah. I mean, if you look, they've got the trophy.
Yes.
It wasn't an aberration. You know, I mean, they didn't play great baseball after let's say
last
May,
year. Yeah, last year.
Or parts of June.
Coming down the stretch.
But look, they were the very, very good team in the postseason. Obviously, they had great pitching. They figured out the bullpen, and the offense was there. I mean,
the offense.
I mean, you just can't say that they weren't a good team. And those guys are back, right?
Right.
They do have some differences that are you know, they didn't have a Wyatt Langford who was trying to figure things out. They had, but they didn't have Jacob deGrom. So if Jacob deGrom comes back healthy and this team is hot, and you have a playoff rotation of Eovaldi, deGrom,
Mahle,
Scherzer, Mahle, or Heaney.
You think Scherzer's coming back?
Yeah, he's supposed to be back like in a week.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that shoulder inflammation was not a big deal. He was supposed to. He thought he could have started Tuesday. He just wanted a couple extra days. He's been throwing in the meantime, working out. He is not injured beyond just a little fatigue. But anyway, the point is, if they get hot, if they win the division, because the wild card's out is not happening.
Oh no, they're like 8.5.
If they win the division and have those 3 pitchers or 4 pitchers, they can throw at you in a short series. They're going to be a tough out, whether they're hitting or not.
Well, there's so many days off in a series besides the first one where you get if they go in as the wild. Well, they're not going to go in as the wild card.
They're not going to go in the wild card.
They're going to play.
They will have to play right away.
Right, they'll have to play right away
at home though.
At home. But it'll be a division series where that day will be off because they'll get to travel.
Okay, no, their first series will be at home, the 3 wild card games.
Oh yeah, but
they do get a day off.
Yes,
before the start of the wild card round, but it's 3 straight days.
That's right, because the 2 wild card teams play each other, and then the third one plays
the last wild card.
Plays the lowest ranked division winner.
So it'll be probably the Royals or Twins, and the Rangers will have a chance.
Yeah.
And then they would go on the road, but the rotation could reset, and you could start what you started in games 1 and 2. If you remember the division series, they or for the wild card round, they started Montgomery and Eovaldi. Then they had a couple days off, and they were able to start. I think Montgomery started game 2 at Baltimore. And then game 3 was started by Eovaldi at home in the clincher. And then they had all that time off and reset.
Yep.
And it was Eovaldi and Montgomery again. So the playoff does allow for that. But getting there, of course, is what's been the biggest obstacle.
And this is a tough weekend coming up.
If they can hit for 2 months and pitch well, they've got as good a chance as
this weekend's telling.
They really do have a chance.
If they can come away 500 coming out of this next. When they're in Boston and New York, and if they can come away 500 out of that, it would be better if they could come out and win 4 of these 6 games. But I don't know. But the one thing that's got to happen, and it's got to happen, is this offense has got to figure out a way, not just to slug for runs. You've got to be able to get on base, move guys around, and they were so good at doing that, where they could get a guy on, and it was like you would just hand it to the next guy, and they would. Remember that when they would go with 3 or 4 singles in a row and then someone would walk, or you'd have and just doing that, and you weren't dependent. This reminds me of the 1995 Rangers, which was one of my favorite teams. It was get on base and have Juan or somebody come up and hit a home run, and that's how they were winning all year long. And then when they ran into the Yankees who could pitch, well, you know what? You pitched around the guy that hit the home run, and that's all you had to do, and they would beat the Rangers, going into that thing. So it's just. This team was so good last year, sure, huge hits are great, but everybody in the you were a dangerous at bat coming up. They're just not right now.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't think the Rangers are going to make the postseason. I mean,
I don't
after 111 games or whatever it is, 100, I don't know. You are what you are.
Yeah.
I guess it's 115 games. They got 47.
I mean, I guess you could get hot. They've never gotten hot,
you
really.
can get hot. You can get hot. But at this point,
it's got to start.
They are what they are. And if it hasn't started yet, it doesn't seem like it's going to start. Now, could it start? It 100% could.
I thought it would with the walk-off.
And they're only 5.5 games out. That's the mind-boggling thing. 5.5 games can be made up pretty quickly.
Yep.
And 47 games is a long time in baseball, but you got to start now. It's got to start.
Yeah. And you're playing a doubleheader now.
It needed to start 2, 3. It needed to start a month ago. All right, if we're being honest, but they still have time. I don't think it's going to happen, but they still have time.
Well, I don't ever give up until I've been doing this since 1974 until they're mathematically eliminated. As far as I'm concerned, they can always get on a run, but I'm like you. I don't see it. It's got to start now. They've got and now look, they're going to play Seattle 6 times.
Right.
So what they really need is for the Astros to kind of go on a lull and just get into where they start losing series after series.
The Astros and the Mariners have been on a lull all season. It's just been a little bit not as worse of a lull as the Rangers. Yeah. I mean, these teams have had a chance to pull away.
Yeah.
And just
the
Rangers season.
Yeah.
And they haven't done it.
Well, the Rangers were 8 or 9 out a few weeks ago, weren't they?
Right before the All-Star break. So that should give the Rangers a lot of hope. They should realize, and honestly, maybe they went to the White House. They're like, damn, this is nice. What do we have to do to get back here? Oh, we need to get our act together.
Need to get our shit together.
Maybe, grasping for straws, but again, it's possible. It really is. Anything in 162 games is possible.
I know. But I think both of us all year long, it's just been baffling. And I think the players, I think they press some too. I think there's a point where the Josh Smith thing I really thought would ignite something. That was a huge, huge home run. You were there. I'm trying to follow it on my phone in New York City, and I saw it come up and then immediately was waiting for the video to see it. That whole team was fired up. It went crazy. And then you go and you lose the next 2 games.
Well, yeah, I mean, they almost got no hit. That was the
that one you can forgive. You know what? Framber's got it moving. He's got it going. We know Valdez or Framber is that good when he's going, and then come back the next day and put icing on the cake, and you didn't. So now let's see what they do. They're going to go into 2 tough places to play. 2 teams that are still trying to get into the playoffs. So they're not laying down yet.
No.
So they're both trying to get into this thing, and you got to show up.
Yeah, it doesn't look great.
Nope, it doesn't. All right, you ready to go to Walt?
Yeah.
Let's get Pennington on here, guys. Right after this, we're going to be with Walt Pennington. This segment today is brought to you by the Round Rock Express. Jeff, what's going on in Round Rock?
Not a lot right now because they are in Oklahoma City, but they get off the road and start a homestand on Tuesday, August 13th, which is next week. So Tuesdays, it's always Taco Tuesday. The game highlight is Strikeout Hunger, benefiting the Round Rock area serving center. Bring 2 canned goods and receive 1 free GA outfield lawn ticket to that game. And also $3 Carbach Cerveza drafts. And I'm a big fan of Carbach Cerveza. August 14th, $1 hot dogs. August 15th, Brew Review, fans 21s and up. Enjoy a complimentary beer and seltzer sampling throughout the ballpark. White supplies last, presented by Brown Distributing. Friday the 16th, the Express football jersey giveaway to the first 2,000 fans. Also, fitness in the park. We can all use a little fitness. Friday, fireworks. Saturday the 17th, it's ERA night, Spike's version. Spike is the version where your favorite outfit, favorite tour outfit, and friendship bracelet as Spike celebrates Era. I think that's a Taylor Swift reference. And then post-game drone show. And then on Sunday, the 18th, it's Kids Day. Kids will be back in school, so they'll need a day. So for more information, go to milb.com/brown-rock.
guys are joining us right now from Oklahoma City, where the Round Rock Express is going to be taking on the Oklahoma City, Dodgers?
Baseball club.
Yeah, baseball club.
They don't have a
they
name right now.
It's new Texas Ranger left-handed pitcher Walt Pennington. Walt, nice to meet you, bud. What's going on?
Thanks for having me.
Just chilling there in OKC. What's it like up there? Is it smoking hot? I mean, you've got a sweatshirt on.
Yesterday was extremely hot, and then a cold front came in last night, and it's 75 degrees. So it's perfect.
Kidding. Man, we're jealous down here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Omaha can have some hot days, some hot and muggy days.
Very humid.
Yeah, it sneaks up on you. It's right there on the river. So, you can't. I guess you just can't escape it, though. I mean, the Midwest is shockingly humid. We'll get into Colorado a little later, but you and I come from Colorado where it's bone dry. So this humidity, even a little bit of humidity, kills us. So anyway, I'm glad you're surviving. You pitched last night.
I did. Yes,
you did. How did you like it? How are you? And then how are you liking your new organization?
Yeah. So, well, like I said earlier, I don't know where I wake up in the morning, but I like it so far. The guys have been very welcoming. And then I spent just a couple days in AAA right after I got traded and got sent up. So learning 60 new faces in less than a week takes a toll. But it was great. Right before I got optioned, I had a good conversation with Mad Dog up there, Maddox. I talked about what we can work on in AAA. And so last night I got to kind of put some of that stuff to the test and see how I can adapt to it and how the hitters respond to those types of things.
Okay. I did see it before you were optioned that he basically stood behind you while you threw on flat ground and I guess gave his expert opinion to you. What without giving away the trade secrets, what are you going to focus on here in the next until your next call up?
Yeah. So one, it's using my pitches to all sides of the plate, not just kind of limiting myself to only doing one certain thing, but kind of expanding my horizons on that, and just how pitches play together, sequencing essentially of how we can sequence a little bit differently, and so just keep the hitters guessing. That's always the name of the game.
Well, I want to ask a fun question real quick because I want to jump in because, guys, we don't know this is the Michael Lorenzen trade that you came over from the Kansas City Royals. I always love to ask this. This is the first time for you, obviously. How do you find out you've been traded? What's going on, and what happens? All of a sudden, they just pull you somewhere, or what happened?
Yeah, so we were on a 2-week road series from St. Paul, Minnesota, going to Rochester, New York, and there was no direct flight, so we were kind of dreading that Monday travel day. But I got a call that morning after I woke up. I thought I was going to board the flight with the team to Rochester, and I got a call from the manager, and he said, I got bad news for myself. You've been traded. And so I was shocked because I thought I was going to have another shot with the Royals, especially only being up for a day. And I just thought a whole bunch of things. I thought I was safe from that, but guess not. So then my head started spinning. I got to continue on with the team to the airport because I was flying out at the same time as them and got to say my goodbyes, but it just happened so quickly.
Now, where did you head out immediately? So you went directly?
I went from St. Paul, Minnesota, flew straight to Omaha, packed up my stuff there, and then they flew me to Round Rock.
Round Rock, right. Because you were there a couple of days before you got called up. And then, okay, we're back with Jeff. Keep going. Sorry.
Oh, no. And then you had to get your wife and your daughter, too. I mean, that's the thing. When players get traded, it affects a lot of people.
Exactly.
So that's why you weren't able to come onto our show last week. So I think what people don't realize is that a trade affects more than just the player. It affects all kinds of people. So I'm trying to remember, was your wife and daughter, were they in Arizona or were they in Omaha?
They were in Arizona. For the 2-week road series, I had them sent back to Arizona so they could spend time with family there. Planning on that, but I got to see them a little bit sooner, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I guess they haven't really had much time to hang around Round Rock, but Round Rock's an all right place. There's some pretty cool stuff there.
It sure is. A lot better than Omaha, in my opinion.
Well, if you like barbecue, you can't find a better place than Central Texas.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So when you get some time, I don't know what your daughter's eating yet, but probably not brisket, but you got to raise her right and get her going
That's
on
right.
get her going on the beef. So, hey, there was something that came out this week in Baseball America. They were rating the top pitches in the minor leagues, and they said that you and have one of the 5 best sliders in all of minor league baseball.
Hmm.
How has that pitch developed for you, and when did you start throwing it, and how has it evolved over the years?
So I knew it's always been my best pitch, even from early on when I first started throwing it. And at first I was calling it a curveball before I knew anything about it. And when I finally got the pitch metrics on it, when that stuff was first coming out, like on Rapsodo, it was moving what they call like 0-0. And so they were telling me it was a bad pitch. So like, try to get your hand in front of it more like a curveball. And I'd try to mess around with it. It would never work. But just because the metrics said it wasn't good at the time, I kept throwing it and the hitters told me it was bad. So I kept on going with it. And honestly, it's just always been there for me. I never really had to work on it or think about it. It's just been my go-to bread and butter.
So you haven't changed your pitch grip since you were not drafted, since you signed with the Royals or anything like that? It's just been there.
I think that's the one thing that stayed consistent through college.
Okay. All right. And then do you throw anything else besides the slider and the fastball? Are you trying to work on a changeup or maybe a four-seamer to go off the sinker or anything like that?
So I throw the cutter, which is new this year.
Okay.
The Royals really helped me out with that in spring training, which has helped me get righties out a lot more efficiently. And then I'm working on a changeup still. It's been a work in progress for the past 4 years.
Well, I mean, it can be a hell of a pitch.
Yeah.
It could be the best pitch in baseball.
Yeah. I'll tell you one team that's seen a lot of changeups this year. That's the Texas Rangers hitters.
Absolutely.
They have like Lance Lynn threw back-to-back changeups on him 6 times in his start last week against the Cardinals, and Lance Lynn never does that.
No,
so I mean
he attacks fastball and stays there a lot.
I mean, I saw him throw when he pitched for the Rangers, he was like 90% fastball. That's no exaggeration.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So, well, I'm glad that you're fitting in. That they've got a spot for you. That they like you. That Mike Maddox has given you his once over. That's pretty important stuff. I don't know if you've heard about Mike Maddox, but he goes to the playoff like every year.
It seems to be the trend.
And his brother's wasn't a bad pitcher.
Yeah, he was okay.
Yeah, so I think there's some pitching knowledge in the Maddox family tree there. So it's great. I'm as a player who's on option, who has options remaining, you could get the call at any moment. Did they impart any words of wisdom, like stay ready, anything like that?
I think that it's always implied. I told them I'll be ready the next time you need me.
Okay.
I'm going to come down here, work on that stuff, but I'm going to keep competing and throw strikes. Like first pitch strikes, which we always preach, and then winning the 1-1 counts. It always goes back to that. And so not letting the stuff I'm working on get ahead of that, but working that in and blending it well.
Yep. All right. So in our show, I handled the baseball questions, and John then asks more about get to know Walt Pennington questions.
Yeah, the fun stuff, which you're going to jump in on this because you are both Colorado boys.
There's nothing wrong with Colorado.
Yeah, no, there's not. I love Colorado. My business partner's up there in Colorado. I love it. My dad lived up there for a while when I was in high school, long time ago. But you grew up in Broomfield, right? Broomfield?
Correct.
Where is Broomfield?
Between Boulder and Denver, about 30 minutes outside of Broomfield, or out of Denver.
Okay, so now let me ask you this. Now, you're a baseball player. I know where you went to college, Colorado School of Mines. Did you play any other sports in high school? Were you a football player or anything like that?
A poor basketball player. good at defense. I never shot. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're a pitcher, so you should play good defense.
Yeah, so.
It's the name of the game. So, how good was Broomfield? The Eagles, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Were they? What classification are they?
So we were 4A my sophomore year, and I wasn't on varsity yet. And my first year on varsity, my junior year, we moved up to 5A.
Okay.
So kind of a rough transition there, but my senior year, we figured it out, and we made it to the playoffs.
Okay, yeah, 5A is like the biggest.
That's the biggest. Okay, so that's the biggest going into that. So
my nephew, who went to Meade High School, they were 3A, So they played Holy Family, which I guess has moved to Broomfield.
That's closer to my house than Broomfield High School is.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that because Holy Family used to be in Denver, and when I was in high school,
Okay.
longer ago than you. But I'm telling you, some people don't believe me, but Colorado can produce some good baseball players.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of them in the Rangers organization from Colorado.
There are, and Cole Wynn, who I don't know if he's in Arizona or if he's with you guys or not, but he's the one.
Did you guys ever run across each other? Or you might be a little older than him.
So I played with his brother. I heard that I played with his brother. I think Kason Wynn.
Yeah.
So I don't think I ever encountered Cole though.
Yeah, Cole probably a little. Cole was the 2018 draft out of high school.
So you guys might be.
So you're a little older than he is, but
Brock Burke's probably older than you.
Mm-hmm. He's from Evergreen. Yeah.
Evergreen is where my mom went to high school. But Brock Burke is from Longmont, which is right up the road from you. So, I mean, it's just but Roy Halladay, of course, I went to high school with Roy. There are
Tell him where you went.
Arvada West.
Okay.
There are some really good ball players that come from Denver. It's just, how do you guys juggle the weather? Because obviously when high school season starts in February, it's not warm. It can snow. So how do you get your throwing in?
You just layer up. Once you get the body moving, you're good. I think we're better for it in some cases. I hated hitting back then. We played a couple of games where it was snowing, and the umpires would not cancel the game. And, no one wanted to hit, but I think it gets it's a little easier to pitch in the cold weather for some reason. But I think we're better for it. And then relating to the altitude, I also think it makes us better, and maybe some people go hidden under the radar because your pitches don't play as well. The ball goes further. So I think we're also better for it in that stance too.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about Colorado School of Mines and how you end up there. I've actually heard of it. I've got a son that's a senior in high school who is going to be an engineer, wants to get into engineering. It's a huge engineering school. I know that. I know one of his classmates' father went to Colorado School of Mines, so I've heard about it. Now, did you have any other offers? Was that all you had? Did you go to junior college? What's your route? How'd you end up at Colorado School of Mines?
So there's one particular baseball tournament, the Arizona Fall Showcase, I believe, where I hadn't been recruited until then. I was going, this is kind of my last shot. So there's this academic all-star game. You had to pitch in the morning, and then you go play with your regular team. And then if you did well enough, they'll select you for the all-star game that night. So I guess I did well enough in that little tryout in the morning. And I think that's where I first got seen by the coach at the School of Mines, and where a majority of the offers I received came from. A lot of them were junior colleges. I think I had a preferred walk-on to Utah, and then actually West Point reached out, and I was very close to going with them, but I could not commit to the next 9 years of my life as an 18-year-old. And then I kept thinking about it. No other D1s reached out, so I heard about the School of Mines. I was always good at math and science. I wanted a good plan B. And so I was like, and it's 40 minutes from home.
Yeah.
So I reached out to the coach, and I guess they saw me at that showcase too. And they offered me. So it all meant to be. It's all meant to be.
So I'm sorry. What's your major? Chemical engineering or
mechanical?
Mechanical engineering.
That's what my son's probably going to do.
Yeah. So I would recommend that.
What could you do with that degree?
Anything that moves, I would say, that you can see. Civil's more of anything that stays still.
Okay.
Chemical is just really smart people on the stuff that you can't even see.
We don't talk about chemical engineering. Let's go on.
Yeah. But mechanical, pretty much anything you see that moves. That's how I...
robotics.
Okay.
Cars. People
aerospace, too.
Yes, aerospace. People that are like NASCAR now, that run NASCAR. You got mechanical engineers that are in there building NASCARs and stuff. I mean, mechanical is everything that moves, and my son loves it. And Jeff's met my son, but it's been fun to watch. He's in this little robotics program. They build these robots and go to competitions. It's cool. As a guy that just played sports, it's neat to watch. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Okay, so you signed in 2020. In 2020, we all know what happened in 2020. COVID, the draft got reduced to 5 rounds. If it hadn't been shortened, did you think you were going to get drafted?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. My senior year was off to kind of a rough start. I'm glad the last game I pitched in college was a complete game and finally figured some things out. But I was kind of struggling. I was throwing a little bit harder, but I couldn't control it. And
Okay.
so I didn't have the results that I was hoping for. So when the season got canceled, it kind of crushed me because I thought that was it, that I was going to
Yeah.
go out kind of not regretting, but just hopeful for more to happen my last year.
Yeah.
But I'm glad it ended differently.
Yeah. How did that come together?
So when COVID kind of canceled our season, we were 5 weeks in. I was kind of figuring out, what do I do next? Do I graduate, get my degree, and go get a job, go to grad school? And then when the NCAA gave us our season back, I applied for grad school because I was like, maybe get a free master's, go play my last season, end with a bang, and then I'll
Okay.
go get a job.
Yeah.
So I kept training, throwing a little bit harder. And then this team in Kansas for the NBC World Series, because Kansas stayed open during this time, the facility I was training at where I started throwing harder, they owned a team that was out there. And so they told me, go pitch for this team, get seen in front of some scouts. Like, okay. So I pitched 4 innings, started 4 innings with a team I'd never played with before, and I was throwing hard. And then after the game, I'm walking from the bullpen to the dugout on the phone with my brother, and some guy from the stands, I thought he was a dad, he said, you interested in signing a professional contract? I was like, hold up, who are you? And then it ended up being Matt Price with the Royals, and essentially with that one game, after
Yeah.
all the showcase I've been through, it was that one game that got me into professional baseball.
Oh, wow.
That's cool. That's really neat.
So you sign, you go, I guess they had instructs that year. So you go to Arizona.
So it didn't happen for a couple months. We were doing
Right.
to get acquainted with the new draft class. We were doing a buck study written by Dayton Moore. And then I went to Arizona with the other guys to get acquainted sometime in the winter.
Okay. And
All right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think your story kind of should, if people hear this,
It's encouraging to people.
Yeah, it's encouraging.
Don't ever stop. Don't ever give up. Just keep going.
You never know when your time's going to come. And if you love it, do the hell out of it. Do it as well as you can.
Exactly.
And good things can happen. So no, that's awesome. So great for you. And then you go to Arizona. What, you get a wife out of the deal?
I actually met her in college.
Okay.
She was a Catholic missionary there, and I was kind of tied in with the same group there, but I only knew of her. And then when I went to Arizona, I was looking for a good community there, so I reached out to her knowing she was living there at the time. And she didn't really know anybody, but she said she'd hang out with me. And so we went to church a couple times, started texting a little bit more, talking more, and then come to find I really liked her.
Attaboy.
She liked me.
Attaboy.
There you go. All right, let me ask you this. So we'll get a couple more fun ones in here before you get out of here. So fast food wise, what's your go-to? Like no one likes to admit they have to eat some fast food every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to guess because a lot of players love Chipotle. Is that one
That's
of your
it.
go-to?
I was going to say Chipotle. I just had Cava today for the first time. It's opening up my horizons. Cava, like a Mediterranean Chipotle.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Mediterranean food.
I try to stay healthy. Yeah, I try to stay healthy, and there's not many great options. Salad and Go.
Yeah.
Salad and Go.
I don't know.
If you saw me, you would know that I need to learn. I need to follow you.
They have a salad and Go and Chipotle in Surprise that are like a quarter of a mile apart. So I mean, you've probably just worn out Litchfield there.
Yeah.
For you Ranger fans that don't understand this, he's going to spring training exactly where he's been going to spring training
I know.
for the past few years. He's just moving across the diamond. That's all he's doing.
Yeah.
When I got traded, I was telling everybody I'll see in spring training across the field.
Yeah,
it kind of made that goodbye easier, I guess.
Yeah, make it a lot easier. All right, now home cooked meals. Let's go to this. What's your best home cooked meal, and who cooks it? Does mom cook it? Grandma? Does your wife make something?
My father-in-law cooks the best steaks, in my opinion. He does it on the green egg.
Oh yeah.
I haven't had a steak better.
Okay.
So
now, what's your cut? Do you like a ribeye? You like a New York strip? What do you like?
So I like fillets, but they're not big enough. So I'll go with a ribeye.
All right, ribeye's my favorite too.
Yeah.
All right.
It's the fattiest. It's got the most flavor. So.
Oh, that's what makes it so great.
Hey, so what are your favorite restaurants in Colorado? Because you've got the Broomfield Boulder area that you can choose from, but also Golden.
Let's see. So in Golden, there was the Woody's Pizza there. They
Yeah.
kind of college special nights with all the pizza there, and it was fun. And then in Broomfield, there's a place called Great Scott's. It's a little diner. It has that
Okay.
little old-timey feel that we grew up going to.
All right.
Great Scott.
In Golden, I don't know if it's still there. Tony Rigatoni's. It might not be there. They had a Morrison location too. It's really good. Pizza Pietra's, which is in Wheat Ridge, or Randy's, which is in Arvada, and then Broomfield. Have you ever been to Scalzotto? It's an Italian place. So. It's pretty good.
I've heard of it.
But the Mexican food in Colorado is really good. It's not Tex-Mex.
The green chili. Ooh.
Oh yeah, green chili. You know, and we can go on and on. I'm just glassed over. We're gonna lose listeners at this point. We don't want to do that, but no, it's always good to have some Colorado people to talk to. I mean, I've lived here for more than half my life, but my family still lives in Colorado, so it's always nice to.
I love Colorado. It's beautiful up there. My dad lived up there from my freshman year to my senior year. He moved home right after my senior year of high school. I lived in Springs, Colorado Springs, which was a great area there. We used to go up and go skiing. Did you go skiing? Were you a snow skier?
Never allowed to. My dad never let me. He thought I'd get hurt. So I've only been twice in my life, but I think it's very fun. So the day I retire, I'll be on the slopes.
You'll be on the slopes. Get up there and make fun of us Texas people, because all the Colorado people make fun of us tourists that come up there to.
Well, a Texan. We skied. I was in elementary school at this time.
Yeah.
And a guy who was wearing a University of Texas hat, we were at Vail, just barreled into my mom.
Oh.
And my mom is teeny tiny, and sent her every which way, and just looked at us, said, "Oh, sorry," and took off. My dad and I chased him down.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you don't mess with the Wilsons on skis.
All right.
Now, what about golf? I know there's a couple of places in Broomfield. Did you play golf, like Eagle?
Yeah, I played Eagle Trace. That was I'm not very good at it.
Okay.
It's very frustrating. And I have enough frustration on the baseball field that I don't need more of it. But a lot of guys in Golden played Fossil Ridge right across the street from the field, which great course there. But other than that, not much.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Not well. We're going to end it with this one. It's one of our fun ones. We ask people. We'll talk about some funny answers we've had. It's what is something that nobody knows about Walt Pennington? I'll give you an example. Your general manager is Chris Young. He is a fan of true crime stories. So true crime, like First 48 and all of that. What's something nobody knows about you?
Like Brock Burke is a sleepwalker.
Yeah, Brock Burke's a sleepwalker. You'll need to get into those stories.
So I was really darn shy in high school, and my best friend Cameron Pazel, he really took a liking to YouTube videos, and he wanted to study film, and he ended up studying film in college. And so we started making YouTube videos, not just school YouTube videos, but fun ones. And so our highest video, and so I'm not a YouTube star, but our highest video has 2.5 thousand views, which is a lot for us.
All right.
So a YouTube aspiring star? I don't know. Something like that.
Well, we're going to have to check him out.
Yeah, we're going to. What channel is it under? The Walt
It's called Calculus Wars. I don't know what he changed the name. It's either Cam Pazel or Filmtastic. But Calculus Wars is the video that I'm really
proud of. Cactus Wars. Hey, listen, Walt, congratulations on welcome to the Texas Rangers. I know that we're excited to have you here. We knew that it's always exciting to meet new players at spring training. If you get back up here, I'll run into you when you're at the games. We'll run into you.
I sure hope so.
If not, then we'll definitely see you at spring training. But it's great to meet you. You're just like everything we've heard. What a great guy! Yeah. Great organization. We're proud to have you here. Thanks for joining us, bud. I know it's been a busy one.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. It's great to see you guys and meet you guys, and I look forward to further questions.
All right. We'll see you soon, buddy.
Okay. That's Walt Pennington. Walt Pennington, new Texas Ranger, left-handed pitcher. Guys, we're going to go down in the bus leagues right after this. Down in the bus leagues, brought to you by the Frisco RoughRiders. Jeff, what's going on down in Frisco?
Well, just like Round Rock, they are on the road. They are at Midland, but they come back just like Round Rock on Tuesday the 13th against Springfield, a Cardinals affiliate. August 16th, Friday Night Lights, post-game fireworks. 17th, Loteria Night, when they play as the Quesos de Frisco. Also, kids run the bases there. And then on the 18th, Sunday, Marvel's Defenders of the Diamond Night. Character appearances from Spider-Man. All right. And it's the Kids Sunday Fun Day and post-game fireworks. As always, for more information, go to milb.com/Frisco.
All right, a big thanks to Walt Pennington for joining us. All right, guys, it's time to go down in the bus leagues. You know what? Before we get going down in the bus leagues, we've got a show coming up where we're going to go to One Rangers Way again, right?
Yeah, that's coming up on the 22nd. There are friends and one of the sponsors on our show. If you don't know, run One Rangers Way. It is the only residential community that is in the Arlington Entertainment District that allows you to walk to Rangers games and Cowboys games, and those. And I think a soccer team plays across the street. If you want to go to a high school football game there at Choctaw Stadium, you can do that too. Anyway, it's a one of a kind opportunity, exclusive lifestyle, tons of amenities like a exclusive bar, a sports viewing lounge, a pool with a swim up bar.
Pet friendly.
We all like that. Pet friendly. We love pets, and so do they. So they are now. You can go. They have a model over at Texas Live. You can go check that out. You can view the floor plans at onerangersway.com. Live like a champion at One Rangers Way. Now leasing for January 2025.
And that's going to be a neat place. And I'm super excited about that. But look, we're here to go down in the bus leagues. Brought to you by the Frisco RoughRiders, as Jeff said a while ago on our ad that ran before this. What we're going to do, we always start at the top level. It's AAA, AA, then you got high A, low A, and then we're going to go down and talk about Dominican Summer League. Arizona Complex League is out of it. They're done, but the Dominican is still playing. Let's start at the highest level. It's the AAA Round Rock Express, who are for the first time in a while under 500.
Oh, man.
They are 16-19. They are 2-8 in their last 10.
Yeah.
They did win their last game, but so, look, that's AAA is always a team that's in flux because of the players that are coming in and out of there and moving up and doing that. But they've played pretty well all year long, and it's a pretty talented team.
Yeah, there's some talent. There's some guys that, if this was 2021, that would be in the major leagues right now, but they aren't. That's just the way it goes. But right now, it's the usual suspects on offense. It's Blaine Krim who is I mean, he just keeps going and going and going. His average is up to 272. He's at 10 home runs, 56 runs batted in, 797 OPS. I mean, if you look at his career stats,
he hits at every level.
He hits at every level. He's going to be above 800 OPS at the end of the year. Dustin Harris has been on a little bit of a heater too.
Yeah.
So good for him. And the thing that always gets me about Dustin, and we say it all the time, he has 28 stolen bases.
Yeah, he's fast. He's tall and lean.
He can run. He's a good base runner. He's played some center field, just trying to add some more tools to his tool belt. So that's good. A couple little things. Andrew Kisner is no longer a member of the team. He was designated for assignment and signed by or claimed by the Diamondbacks. Davis Wenzel, who mentioned last week, he is now playing Cincinnati Reds organization. The Reds and Rangers worked out a trade right at the deadline for him after he'd been designated for assignment also. So on the pitching side, Jack Leiter, the Rangers skipped his start last week. Not sure why they did that. But his numbers, again, are among the league leaders in the Pacific Coast League. Owen White, though, still not among the league leaders. His ERA is 5.88. You're a little concerned about that. And then, guys like Grant Anderson and Daniel Robert, who are on the 40-man roster, who are likely to be in the major leagues, along with Walt Pennington at a moment's notice. So there's some good things. And one other thing, Mark Church started an injury rehab assignment last week.
Down in Hickory or something, right?
In Hickory. So that's good. He had a bad, I think it was a lat injury or oblique. I get those muscles confused, but it was a pretty serious one, and it cost him. And the Rangers added him to the 40-man roster last offseason to protect him from the Rule 5. And it really looked like with the spring he had, I thought he was going to make the opening day roster, but it really looked like he would be a contributor right off the bat, and instead he got injured. So good for him. Glad that he is back going, because he's a good dude.
Frisco RoughRiders, that's the AA affiliate. They're 21. By the way, guys, this is the second half. So we're doing second half because they play them in two halves. Frisco has already made the playoffs in the first half.
Yeah.
But they are 21-15 right now. They're 5-5 in their last 10, and they have lost 3 in a row. This is a team that's got some big names on it now with Kumar Rocker, who's already made two starts?
2 starts. Yeah, I think he makes his third tonight.
So you got Kumar that's there. The bats obviously are still being led by
our buddy Cody Freeman, Josh Hatcher. Also, they're both right there. Freeman he's got 25 doubles. I think that's something that could translate into a little more power. 13 homers, but get some of those doubles to carry over the fence. 12 steals. I mean, this is a good all-around player, and he's a really good defensive player. So good for him. Abby Ortiz, he got it above 200. It's right at 201 right now. So his season's probably been not a little bit. It's definitely been a step back. One guy who I failed to mention last week is Alejandro Osuna, who had a great July after a great June at Hickory. The change in level hasn't really affected him at all. He's been really productive, and just another guy. He's a lot like Cody Freeman, a really good defensive player, has a little pop, good hitter, good base runner. So that's pretty cool to see him having his success. And then on the pitching side, Toyota was back, although he only pitched 4, I think 3 1/3
monitoring innings there.
Monitoring innings. There's nothing wrong with him. Dane Acker had a real nice start his last time out.
He's only allowed to run in 2 starts, I think.
Yeah, Ryan Garcia, our buddy,
he got promoted.
He got promoted to AAA. He had a really good July too. He got his ERA under 4, which doesn't sound like much, but
he started out.
If you had seen where it was to start the year, and then last year he just had a not good year. So good for him. Winston Santos, who was called up right before the All-Star break, he's still struggling a little bit. 6.64 ERA in 5 starts, but he's still throwing a lot of strikes. A lot of strikes for Santos, and probably too many strikes, if you know what I mean. Mitch Bratt has a 3.27 ERA. He got beat, I think, last night. So he's only made 2 starts. Went 5 in the first 6 innings. It was last night or Wednesday night. But he's looking good. He's another guy. Tons of strikes, lots of strikeouts, not very many walks. But Rocker's the big name there, right?
Yeah, now. He's and probably slowly but surely, him and Toyota might be the 2 top arms in the entire system right now.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And I think and both of them are at AA, and there's a chance to go see them because I don't know how much longer they'll be there. I mean, I think Kumar might get a chance to make a start or 2 at AAA at the end, kind of the way they did Langford. Yeah. If they want, look, he doesn't have any innings. If they want to get him a few innings, and then obviously going to fall instruction.
That last week they did that with Leiter last year. Gave him a start, but it's just a way to keep him pitching. So,
exactly.
So
no, it's not about
that might be how it works out.
Yeah, exactly. And Toyota just might be somebody they promote.
I mean, I think it's on the table. It would be as a reliever, it wouldn't be as a starter. It still depends, on command. I know he's got overpowering stuff.
Right.
Like we mentioned with Pennington, the Rangers have, according to Baseball America, 2 of the 5 best sliders in their farm system, Toyota and Pennington. So, interesting stuff there.
Yep. All right, let's go to Hickory. That's the high A club. They will be back at low A next year, but they are the high A Hickory Crawdads. They're 21-17, 7-3 in their last 10. They have won a couple of games, and they've got a new outfielder and a new catcher.
They do. The Rangers have started distributing their draft picks around the system, and good for Malcolm Moore to make his, professional debut.
Right.
He's doing it at Hickory. I thought he might go to low A. Dylan Dreiling, the second rounder, joined him. So They've only played a couple games. It's been very rainy in Hickory because of Hurricane Debbie.
Right.
So they haven't had an opportunity to get out and play a lot. But hey, they get to go through a hurricane. And it's also noteworthy that Anthony Gutierrez hit a home run. He hadn't done that yet. And this is a guy that they put a lot of money into. Thought he was the next coming, and he's really languished. He doesn't strike out a lot. But he doesn't walk a lot. He does steal a bunch of bases, but
he's an athletic looking dude when you get
I mean, he's 6'5", big guy, but the thought was he was going to grow into a lot of power and mash fastballs, and in the Arizona Fall League he did, and he still could, but I would rate the last 2 years as probably not what the Rangers had envisioned for him, but I would think that what Sebastian Walcott has done really since middle May has been exactly what they envisioned. He has 21 doubles, 10 home runs, and 18 steals. There have been 2 guys who have done that in their 18-age season. I saw this as a tweet, so I'm referencing a tweet that may or may not be accurate. But the 2 who they mentioned were Jackson Churio, who's now with the Brewers and kicking butt, and Fernando Tatis Jr. So that's kind of the company that Sebastian Walcott is in right now. He's got a lot of potential. All right. There's no way around that. It's just, he's 18. Rangers don't really need him, but if he looks like he's going to provide them with a boost next year, or maybe when he's 20, then hey, the Rangers haven't been shy about that stuff.
Well, look what he's done. He's raised his average up to 255.
Yeah.
His OPS is up to 7. I mean, guys, again, that doesn't sound great, but where he started,
right,
was really struggling, but he was 18. And by the way, I'm going to throw some cover over Gutierrez too. He's not even 20 yet.
Right.
He's 19 years old.
Yeah.
He is a big kid, and yes, I mean, he's older than Sebastian Walcott, but he's not as highly a ranked prospect as Sebastian Walcott either, who they already knew.
But
they've got a lot of.
He was a top 5 guy when they signed him.
Absolutely. But that's also, this is a 19-year-old kid about to be 20 in November. This is a kid that could easily just click.
Oh yeah.
I mean, look at someone like Nelson Cruz. Didn't click till he was 28 years old. So
we get it.
We got a long ways to go there, and I've still got hopes for Gutierrez going into that. We go down into the Down East. Would anybody else?
Well, I just Cole Drake had probably his best start. Alejandro Rosario, another good one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so these guys, they started in Hickory
or in Down East.
Down East. They've moved up. They've each pitched in 6 games. They have 89 combined strikeouts and 12 combined walks. I mean, that's what they were doing in Down East.
You got to throw strikes, man.
Attack the strike zone with your best stuff and see what happens. And it's been pretty good for them.
Well, and look, they're going to go to Double-A. They're going to do the same thing, and they're probably guys don't freak out. There'll be some Double-A hitters that'll put a barrel on some of those, and they'll drive them 450 feet because that's what happens when you get better hitters and you throw strikes. Then you got to learn how to, okay, these guys hit better. Now I got to start working around them. And that's how it works. I mean, these guys, I keep going back to Mitch Bratt when Mitch Bratt's numbers weren't good. And everybody we were talking to at the top of the organization was saying, ignore that. I kept saying, who's somebody to watch that no one's talking about? Mitch Bratt. Yeah. And man, he's just been really good. And it's been like, don't pay attention to those numbers. We are loving what we're seeing.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't think Drake and Rosario will start at Double-A next year, but they'll get there. But each level presents its own, exposes a weakness.
Yep.
And because each level the hitters are a little bit better. So,
and that's the biggest jump I hear. Well, for a hitter too, I hear it's the biggest jump is to go from Single-A to Double-A. It's just a big change. I mean, these are a lot more mature players. They're better. They're more thought of. When you get in those upper levels, they're only few get that high. So if they start tapering off. All right. That's it let's go down to the Down East Wood Ducks. That's the low A team. Down East is 20-15. Now, this is the hottest team in the organization. They are 10-0 in their last 10. They've won 10 in a row. So it's pretty easy to say that they are the hottest team. You know what? Let's go back to Hickory real quick, though. We didn't talk about Cam Colley, who's been pretty good so far too.
Yeah.
Is this a guy that might end up at AA for the end of the season?
I don't know. If you look at his,
he started out horrible.
You look at his numbers. He is striking out a lot. He's hitting around 250. I don't know. He was injured there early on with turf toe, I think it was. So he's missed a little time. So I don't know. I don't know where he's going to end up.
He's had a power surge lately. I think he's hit a few home runs in the last couple. All right, Down East 20-15, 10-0, won their last 10. I mean, this team is hot.
Yeah, they're also dealing with the hurricane, and but Shedry Vargas made the Baseball America hot sheet for last week. He had 3 home runs last week, gets him up to 12. He's at 274 with his batting average. Another guy that steals bases, 791 OPS. So, it's been a march, kind of like the Walcott that we talked about. These guys are young; they get to a new level. It may take some time to adjust, but once they figure it out, they adjust. As we've talked about all year, this is a pitching first team. And Jose Gonzalez still under 2 with his ERA 194. David Davalillo 179. I don't know. You have to find a place for these guys. It's not like you can just promote them. There have to be openings, and
right.
I'm assuming their turn is coming. Paul Bonzagni got promoted to AA. He'd had he's a little bit older. I don't know if this is age appropriate or not, but he's pitching well, obviously pitching well in the Rangers' eyes. So, and they've inherited some guys from Arizona that I think we talked about this last week. Some of the younger pups, Jeremy Cabrera, Jose De Jesus, and then Pablo Guerrero was the other one. They're all doing okay. De Jesus is batting 478. He's doing a little bit better than okay. Pablo Guerrero batting 304. So good for them to get out of Arizona, see a new level, and I'm assuming that they will start next season right back in, not down east, in Spartansburg, South Carolina.
Or Hickory if they're going to stay in low A.
Well, you're correct. My fault. Yeah. So they'll be in Hickory, but it'll still be low A.
It'll still be low A. Okay, so the ACL's over with. They finished the ACL at 36-24, lost in the playoffs, which is just basically not very much of the playoffs the way they play it. We'll go down to the DSL where they're still playing. It's the Dominican Summer League. There's 2 teams, and the red team is the second hottest team in the whole organization. They've won 5 in a row. Okay. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're 33-15 back in first place. Okay. They had fallen out of first place. The blue team, on the other hand, is 24-21, 3-7 in their last 10 and lost 3. They try to tell you that they're split evenly, but kind of the bigger names are on the red team.
Yeah, Curly Martha is probably having the best season out of all the guys that were not the best because dadgummit, I'm stumbling over his name. I'll get back to it.
Guerrero?
No, not Guerrero.
Oh, Guerrero.
You'll from
okay.
Shit, I can't get it out. Anyway, Paulino Santana is there too. Still doesn't have a home run, but he's batting 290. All right. Curly Martha is batting 297 and has 4 home runs. Yolfran Castillo, who was promoted and finished the year at Arizona. All right, thank you very much. So, yeah, those are the guys. These are, I mean, there are so many players who are down there, and being completely honest, I do not know all of them.
Yeah,
they signed so many players for $10,000 that don't make that sign after the big January day, the 15th. And so you do miss some of these guys.
David Ortiz signed.
That's right. I saw that too. And the Rangers haven't announced that, but he has signed, and I don't think he's played yet. I don't know that he will play. Maybe they'll get him into some games, but that's an interesting one.
Yeah. I'm sure his visa issues are simple because his dad's kind
of built like his dad. If that tells you anything. So that'll be an interesting one to see, but that's just it. Just because the signing period starts on, or opens on January 15th, that's where they spend most of their money, but you can acquire money through trades, and you can still save money. You don't have to spend it all. And so they scraped together, you know, what was it,
250,000, I think,
250, 220, 200, something like that, and so anyway.
Got his career started, guys. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a good one. Thanks to Walt Pennington for joining us. Lots of things in the hopper, guys. A bunch of fun stuff coming up that we'll get into, but another fun one. And Walt coming in, you went to the White House. Of course, we got political because we needed to. Kidding. All right, I'm kidding, guys.
We were very down the middle.
They were very down the middle. That's right. Guys, listen, we can't do this without you. We appreciate it. Thanks to Walt Pennington again. Like I said, for Jeff Wilson, I'm John Moore. And until next time, guys, we will see you.